I'll wait till you get set, man. I know you like putting in these random pieces of me doing random stuff in the beginning. Yeah, I know. I did like on the last one, our little conversation at the beginning. You can hear us talking. Yeah, that was fun. Um, okay. Usually I start these all like I want to know your story. I mean, I know it. People don't know it. So go ahead. Let's go pre-draft. I want to talk about high school.
High school.
I know it was a long time ago, but
Yeah, man. All right. So I was a two-way guy. Played outfield, center field, and pitched. Hated pitching. It was it was just out of necessity for the team or whatever. And yeah, so loved outfield, hated pitching, and uh, I guess fortunately, I had more promise. I was a hit right-handed, threw left-handed. Don't see too many of those things like Ricky Henderson, Ryan Ludwig, or a few. And yeah, I mean, had some success for the team. Didn't really get any college offers or anything like that. Was looking at going to the military, looking at like being in the infantry in the army. You know, had an uncle that was in there, so I was just looking to follow those footsteps. Then my senior year, just just like a stroke of luck, there was a rain out, and a coach from the JUCO I ended up going to ended up catching a game I pitched in, and ended up offering me a scholarship, and then went there. Freshman year, I went there as a two-way switch hit or play center. I was terrible my freshman year. It was trash. It was like had like 14 innings, like 14 walks, 14 just terrible, you know. I think being able to play the outfield kept me around, like kept me having a scholarship, and then I ended up playing on I'm relatively young, or I was young for that time for my age, so I ended up playing on a 18 under travel ball team and just getting innings or whatever, and got knocked around that summer, like to the point to where I was questioning whether or not baseball was gonna be a thing. And I guess just in hindsight, just learn how to take some losses or whatever, and came back the next fall, pitched well. Didn't really crack the starting rotation that spring until like an injury came up, so it was like I had to take advantage of the opportunity. Pitched really well. Ended up getting a scholarship to Marshall University and then getting drafted. Didn't sign, went to Marshall, transferred that semester, went to Kansas, and got knocked around. It was a repeat of freshman year. You know, It was had like, I think, started off real strong, won like 4 straight games, had 28 innings at the break, and then at the end of the season had like 32, just knocked around. And I mean, if it wasn't for getting invited to a pre-draft workout with the scout that drafted me in 2007, I probably wouldn't have been drafted. You know?
Yeah.
Like they took the scholarship away. I was pretty broken, you know, and yeah, luckily I went down there, threw hard enough to get some attention, and got drafted in the 32nd round, and just kind of took off.
So how hard were you throwing when you got drafted? In game.
In game.
I know you're not a bullpen guy.
The first year, like 2007, I was.
Yeah, let's say 07.
Let's go. It was like 88 to 92, might top a 4, touch a 4. You know, that next year, the spring, it was pretty much the same, like 88, 92, touch a 4 or 5. But like at that pre-draft workout, it was kind of like a lose yourself moment, like Eminem, you know, kind of seeing the writing on the wall. I think I was like 93, 96. And that's just out of my mind or whatever, you know. And then got it done, taken in 32nd round, and then just kind of took off.
Yeah. So what year did you make your debut?
2012.
Okay. So 5 years after getting drafted?
Yeah.
Okay. Who'd you debuted with? Atlanta?
St. Louis.
St. Louis?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You spent 2 years in St. Louis?
So parts of 12, 13. 14.
Okay.
Yeah, so parts of
3 years.
3 years,
Yeah.
and then traded to Texas.
Okay. And you've played in the show for St. Louis, Texas, and Atlanta, correct?
Yeah, the
Those three.
St. Louis, Texas, Atlanta, Milwaukee, Atlanta, Anaheim, and Washington.
Okay.
Yeah,
So you've had plenty of experiences.
bounced around quite a bit.
Yeah. If you had to pick, what is your favorite stadium in the big leagues?
Petco.
Really?
Yeah, it's
Why?
big, nice weather. Well, there's a few. Could I do multiple?
Yeah.
Petco, the weather's amazing. It's big, so
Yeah.
In Pittsburgh, I think it's PNC.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting. None of the historical ones? Wrigley or anything like that?
Wrigley's cool. It
Yeah.
they updated it quite a bit, So like
Yeah.
when I first came up, it was you seen Rookie of the Year,
Yeah.
So it was like essentially it was like that,
Yeah.
pins down the line. Cold in the late in the season, early in the season, but they moved the bullpens underneath. They've renovated it quite a bit.
Yeah.
The last time I was there, but
So what's the best road clubhouse? You're on the road, you could stay at any park in the big leagues. Is there any road clubhouse that's good?
Yankees.
Yankees?
Yeah.
Nice.
I mean, you don't have to eat before you go. It's like, yeah. You don't have. It's like I won't eat before I go to the stadium, and then it'll just be pretty much whatever you want all throughout the day.
That is
Pre-game, post-game, during game.
during game.
It's
Yeah.
New York easily.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So let's go back to debut.
Yeah.
What was that like? Obviously, I haven't experienced it. Probably never will. But was the debut the most nerve-wracking moment?
I would say so, just because it's like growing up. I mean, that's like the dream. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then it's like facing dudes that you grew up watching, playing with on the video games. Mine was a little bit more. It was Santana's no hitter, and so it.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was that was pretty cool. Didn't know it was a no hitter, or didn't know it was going to be a no hitter at the time, but just kind of like trying to focus on the possibility of like getting the job done, and then realizing he's doing something special. Because I mean, I grew up watching Santana, trying to mimic his delivery, his follow through, and all that other stuff. So it was just kind of like it was surreal in that sense,
Yeah. You got to be a part of history.
Yeah. And then I cashed in all the inherited runners, and I was. Yeah, it was.
Oh well.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Cool story.
Yeah, that is really cool. Is that probably the favorite experience?
Of the debut? Probably just. Oh man, I haven't really reflected on that part of it. Just kind of realizing it was like, hey, you've reached a milestone, I guess.
Yeah.
But in hindsight, I wish I had the foresight to just kind of just keep it moving. You know what I mean? There's like just looking back, there was like a sense of complacency that kind of was like, hey, you're here. And then it's like, it wasn't hey, keep moving, hey, stay. It was just kind of like, okay, just kind of cruised a little bit, I had a pitching coach who would say, it's easier to get there than it is to stay.
Yeah.
And then like in hindsight, I was like, just having broken time, bouncing around and all that other stuff. It was, I just wish I would have just kept pushing forward.
Yeah. Is that pretty common?
Speaking for myself, I would imagine so, just because I mean, and this is just a guess. I guess it's kind of rare, I mean, just getting to that level. So it's kind of, I would imagine, or I would guess that just kind of soaking it all in a little bit longer than is needed. It probably takes place more often than not.
Out of all the experiences you've had in the big leagues, which is a milestone no one will ever be able to take away from you. Which team has been your favorite?
Oh, I'll probably say just at different parts. It's hard to say, man. Like playing at Texas, growing up watching them,
That's
like
true.
being able
That's
to
what I
live at
figured.
home.
Yeah.
Atlanta probably had like the most consistent run I had there. Probably felt the most comfortable.
Yeah.
St. Louis just learned the most, just being around all those veterans and everything. You know,
Yeah.
just being able to watch and observe.
Yeah.
If I had to pick, I mean, just being able to play at home, that was.
Yeah. That's what I figured you said.
Yeah.
Just comfortability aspect of it.
There was pros and cons, but
Yeah.
it was. Yeah, the pros definitely outweigh the cons. Though,
Yeah.
for sure.
I think with any experience, that's probably what it's going to end up being like. So, you did throw on pro day. Something I brought up with Alan Carter. Tell me about that experience.
Man.
What was it like? How were you feeling? I mean, for you, I know we can ramble on about how you're not good at bullpens, but we know you're not good at bullpens. You're just a gamer. Was that as close to a game environment as you could ask for?
I would say so. Like I wish just reflecting and looking back, I wish I was more just doing the prep, just kind of geared up, just got more approached it with more intensity. I think that would have carried over a little bit more. But yeah, I mean it was definitely as close to I think that was more of a game environment than like a live BP type setting.
Yeah.
Sure, especially just with everything that was on the line, you know.
Yeah. Well, it feels like there's something that you have to do.
Yeah.
Right. And I think the toughest part about it for us is like there's just this gigantic build up to the day. Whether it's the programming part of it, the personal side of it, right? It's like I'm trying to gear you up for that day without trying to have you falter to the moment.
Sure.
Right. Because yes, your career is in the hands of somebody else now. You don't get to make those decisions. Neither do I. But actually being able to build you up to the moment to where you can actually put out a product that is worthy of something, I think is probably the hardest part about it. Because I don't want you to go out there and if you were 88, 90, you and I both probably would have, we probably would have had a long walk or something like that. But like, I was really, really happy with the product you were able to put out.
For sure.
Especially knowing going into years past, like, you probably never had been able to get ready in January.
Oh no, like that's the thing is like obviously the having been signed or whatever, but like outside of that, it was like it all worked, man. Like it was it just like the preparation going back from August to what was it, January 20th or whatever. I mean it was like it worked, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's just like just remembering that and then just reminding myself just to stay the course, you know?
Yeah.
And so I mean there's
which I think we're doing so now. I mean you threw a pen today.
Yeah.
Which I mean we don't have to talk about it, but it was pretty good.
I'm pleased with it.
For you to be able to throw a lower intensity pin, be somewhere near what your normal peak bullpen velocity is pretty solid, especially knowing that you have one pitch that's pretty good that's not really thrown from the left side as far as the splitter's concerned. Just not too many lefties who throw that. So I think that kind of puts you in your own kind of little market. Now is kind of the waiting game, which is the worst part about it.
It just having to remind myself is like, hey, just stay ready, stay the course, you know. That kind of brings peace of mind to the situation, just kind of not panicking. It's like, because I guess the unfortunate side of the business is like things happen, injuries happen.
Yeah, releases happen, stuff like that.
So definitely want to do my part and stand ready.
Yeah.
For when the opportunity comes.
Yeah, and obviously we don't want guys to get hurt. We don't want guys to get released. Like that's not fair to us. Viewing it as like baseball is essentially a brotherhood. We're all connected somehow.
For sure.
Right. We all know somebody who knows somebody who plays baseball. We all have family who play the game. So it's not like one of those things that you want to happen, but it is an unfortunate fact of the business that it will happen. The main thing now is I think you're in a much better position to show up and be who you are.
For sure. like just being able to hit the ground running, that's always something that I've kind of struggled with. And it's like just kind of realizing now is like I don't have that luxury, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? So
Yeah.
it's
Yeah,
like just,
there's no build up to the sprint.
yeah,
It's a full sprint the
yeah,
second we get the opportunity.
for sure. And
Which,
so
I mean, as a testament to your work, you've done every little thing that I've asked, which is simply all I can ask for, right? I mean, I tell everybody this: I don't care what you do. I just care that you're honest, right? I care that if I give you something and you don't want to do it, you just at least tell me why.
yeah, for sure.
And there's never been any kind of arguments on your part as a coach or as a trainer. I'm not going to call myself a coach, I'm a trainer. It's really easy to work with somebody who just says, okay, I got you. I'll handle this. Is this right? Yeah, that's perfect. Cool. I don't have to worry about you messing something up, fucking something up, or doing dumb shit. Like it's for you, it's simple. It's black and white. Like, hey, I'm just gonna read this. Cool. Deadlift, got you. Done. Right.
Try and be low maintenance, man.
Yeah, but I mean, you're just a really good athlete. Like in general, you just have a high level athleticism. Like, I don't know if that speaks volumes, but I mean, you're just a high level athlete. I expect you to be able to do things that most people can't do. Right. I mean, I don't know if you saw me, but I did take radar readings of some of your like light flat ground shuffles, and they were like 91. And I was like, oh, wow, didn't expect that. Right.
I don't. This is all foreign. Like I don't. Is that I don't know. Is that good? Like I don't.
Yeah, I mean, for you to be playing light catch, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, do I want you to throw 91 like all the time? Probably not. We should
Yeah.
probably take some recovery days. But you're starting to get better at like a higher average velocity threshold, right? So if we're looking at how you've gone into spring training in years past, it's been like, dude, I can't get the engine started. I'm going to show up and I'm going to throw a bullpen at 86, and I just know it, right? And it's just like now it's like I don't have to worry about that anymore. Now it's like, hey, like 91 is your top number today. I don't need you to go over that. You're like, cool, got you. 91, 91, 91, perfect, cool. And I don't have to worry about it because like once you put cleats on, you're just gonna be better. Once the game comes around, I just know you're gonna be better. Like I don't have to worry about. I hope Sam doesn't show up here and throw 92 in today's game because it's not gonna happen. Right? The cleats come on and you're Sam Freeman, you're gonna throw 96. Like you're gonna throw 98. Like that's just who you are. Just a gamer, pure gamer. And I'm not gonna say I pride myself on having gamers, but I prefer gamers. And not to mention your age again, but older guys are typically always going to be gamers. Younger guys, the guys you have in high school, they're early in college, they're used to training now. Most of them throw harder in here.
That's been something I've been trying to like hack for years, just trying to like figure that out. But
yeah. And like there has to be some element to scouting where it does take into effect the game, because the game matters, right? Like we can do all this shit in here that we want to do. None of it matters if you show up to a game and you throw 88 and suck. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like then it's like, what did we just do, right? I have a guy in here who throws. He's a lefty. He's going to throw every single bullpen in here 86 to 88, every single one of them. It ain't never going to get over that number. It's going to be, if he is feeling really good one day, it might be 91. But he's got to be feeling really, really good. I just know when the game shows up, that fastball's going to be 2 to 5. Just meant for the game, right? I mean, he's not older per se. He's 26, but he went to Florida, so it's pretty good. But like, I spent my entire college career being the guy that was really good at training. You need me to throw 95 today? Cool, got you. Oh, you need me to go not walk the bases loaded? Oh, can't do that one, Chief. You know what I mean? Like, that was where, like, my career took a left turn, and especially like once I stopped playing, it was a lot easier to see from the outside where it was like, I got really good at being able to do a lot of cool things in here and just didn't get better at playing the game. I got better at being better at the game,
Right.
just throwing harder, having better stuff than most people. But I did not get better at what the task of the actual game is, and that's simply punch dudes out, don't give up runs, don't lose.
Right.
Right? And I didn't do those things very well. I mean, I punched a lot of guys out. I also walked a ton of guys, and also gave up a ton of runs. So like I went two for 3 on not being very good at things, and like as a testament, like you're better at playing the game, right? Which I think says a lot. I'm gonna go ahead and segue into old man talk. Okay, you're 35, right?
Yes.
Okay. If you had to go back, tell 18-year-old Sam what to do, what are you telling him?
In terms of what?
In terms of where he's going to be, what he should be doing, what should his outlook be? Does he need to be so enclosed and focused on everything that's happening right now?
Talking about baseball-wise?
Baseball-wise, life-wise, anything.
Oh, man. 18-year-old me. What would I do, man?
What would you tell yourself if you could go back and tell 18-year-old Sam?
Stay focused. Whatever it is you want to do the research, because the research is out there, you know, study it, and then just apply yourself, dedicate yourself to it. Just sell out to that craft, man. Cut the distractions, just sell out to the craft, man.
Yeah.
Make the sacrifices needed to be the best that you can. Time flies, you know, like these, 15 years, 18, 17 years have flown by, you know?
Yeah.
So it's just small window of opportunity, man. Just sell out to that craft. Be the best you can be. And just try and be, like, irreplaceable, you know what I mean? Indispensable.
Yeah. I mean, it's tough. It's tough when you're trying to look back on it. I mean, I was in a similar spot, like coming out of high school. I got it. Went to a Division II because like that was the only school that wanted to offer me. I could have gone to some D3s. I was gonna go to a D3, Transylvania in Kentucky. I was gonna go there. I got an offer to play Division II, and I went there. Hindsight tells me that was an okay decision.
Right.
Right. I met some absolutely great people. Hindsight tells me I probably should have tried to go to a JUCO. Because I think I probably would have thrived in that experience. I did blow out my elbow, but you know, but I think kind of for you, kind of what's unheard of. I mean, you went to a JUCO out of high school in an era where JUCO baseball wasn't like what it is now.
Oh,
yeah. I mean, we're like JUCO baseball now is. There's some dogs in JUCO baseball.
I mean, like back then, I mean, just we had, I think, 4 big leaguers on the team that I was on back. We had. Now I didn't know it at the time.
Yeah.
Like I didn't even know what JUCO was. But if we're like going back and we're talking about recruiting, junior college all day.
Yeah.
No question.
Yeah.
Yeah. If I go back and tell my 18-year-old self about the recruiting aspect of it, man, go junior college, spend the 2 years there, just develop, really apply yourself in the fall.
Yeah.
Take advantage of those opportunities in the fall. Ball out, or just try it, do your best in the spring. Like contribute in the spring, just really take advantage of those opportunities in the fall. And then from there, just really try to make wise decisions on their recruiting in terms of what schools you want to go to at the next level.
Yeah.
Like ask yourself how far you really want to play. Like if you want to play professionally or in the big leagues or whatever, it's like make wise recruiting decisions in that aspect.
Yeah.
It's like look at whatever program stats the year before, see who they have on the roster, see what kind of opportunities they got. If you're a pitcher, see how many appearances they get. If they got 4 dudes.
If you got 20 guys who are splitting innings, it's really tough.
Yeah, so I mean, just really do take the time to do the research that way. Don't get caught up in the hype. Like I remember back in the day, I was gonna take like a 20% just to say I was going to a D1. Just something crazy, man.
Yeah, you didn't realize that you were gonna have $80,000 worth of debt.
Yeah, so just take the pride and ego out of it. Just prioritize the opportunity more than the prestige of saying you could go to a certain university or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, just strategic in that sense, and it's just kind of, I don't know, man. Ask the coaches questions.
Yeah.
That's
probably the hardest part.
Yeah.
Like most kids don't know what to ask.
It is,
and because most of recruiting is just a sales pitch.
1,000%.
Right.
1,000%.
And you don't really know what question to ask to get an honest answer anymore.
In my opinion, I think looking at the cumulative stats kind of tells you what time it is in terms of what the coach's philosophy really is, And just kind of knowing coaches at the D1 level, it's like I understand their situation, because jobs are on the line.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, what's the priority, winning or development?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's like, what are you telling the high school kid his goal is to reach the big leagues?
Yeah.
And it's like, hey, what do I get? I think he can help our program, but I can't really let him, for the sake of my own family, I can't really let him take growing pains, take his lumps on all the time, So it's kind of like I understand that dilemma, I guess, but from a player, it's kind of like you gotta kind of search yourself and just kind of really take charge of those decisions, because you only got one shot at it, or you only got a small window of opportunity, you want to capitalize on it.
Yeah. So I would say when you're at your junior college, was there any thought in your mind about you being a big leaguer?
As a pitcher, no. I was so focused, at least not early. I was so focused on switch hitting and playing outfield, stealing bags, running bases, And I had a pitching coach, the one who recruited me. He knew the whole time, he had the foresight, and he kind of nudged me in that direction a little bit, even before I saw it. Just kind of created an environment to where it was like it was all right to fail.
Yeah.
And allowed me to grow in that aspect. And I didn't really see it until my freshman year. The opening, I started opening day, and I popped a 93, and I got a letter from a Giant scout, Tiny Thomas, and I was like, what the hell? I dedicated my entire life to switch hitting, playing outfit, all this other stuff, all the speed work, and then come out, pop a 93, and then just interest as a pitcher. It was like, okay, so that kind of shifted the focus a little bit.
Yeah.
And that's whenever as far as pitching in the big leagues, that was I could started believing at that point.
Yeah. Was there ever any doubt?
Yeah. Yeah.
In the minor leagues?
Yeah, man, just
the whole time?
Called character building moments, you know what I mean? There was I was after my freshman year, getting knocked around by high school graduating seniors and stuff, after my junior year, I was looking at just going to school, you know what I mean? Because scholarship was taken away. I wasn't about to walk on, just if I was going to go to school, I was just going to go to school,
Yeah.
And so, just various parts of the minor leagues. That's where the resiliency and all that stuff kicks in, It's just kind of, Yeah. I mean, but was there doubt for sure? There's various moments for sure.
I'd say we can be upfront, right? Has there been doubts at any point within the past 7 months?
7 months.
Yeah.
For myself, no. Like
Okay.
it like if I think I told you this. Like if I thought that I was gonna roll out and be like what I like 88, 92, if I thought that was it was like this.
Yeah.
You know what I
Cash it
mean?
in. Yeah.
If I knew if I felt like I couldn't return to my old self,
Yeah.
I wouldn't be
Yeah.
spending weeks away from my family and all this stuff.
Yeah.
You know, I'd move on to the next phase. But it's like I know it, man.
Yeah. And I'd say, and I think I'm pretty upfront and honest with you.
Yeah.
So I don't feel the need to bullshit people. I just don't. If I knew, I would tell you.
Right.
Right. So I've never had any doubts. Right. My only thing is just like get someone on board, show who you are, throw well, punch dudes out. And we've been pretty blatant about that's our whole goal. Right.
Yeah,
We're
sure.
gonna punch dudes out. Because I think it gives you longevity in the game. And at that point, it's just like, where do I need to be when you're back in the big leagues? Like, what stadium do I need to be at? Where's my hotel need to be? You know what I mean? Like that kind of stuff, which is fine. I'd prefer it to be that way because I don't have any doubts, right? I don't. Did I doubt myself? Completely. I still doubt my ability, right? And I can wake up and throw 95 if I need to. But like, I would say as a younger player, when you go out and you turn on a game, right, and it's the Yankees playing the Red Sox, and it's Garrett Cole's got the ball on one side, and well, maybe a healthy Chris Sale, who knows? I grew up a Red Sox fan, so that's it's a soft spot for me. And you watch those two guys throw, and you're like, I just don't ever imagine myself being Garrett Cole. It's really difficult. You know what I mean?
Right.
I would say the big turning point for me was probably like access to data. Once I got access to data, it felt like a completely different game, right? Because I was like, he's not doing something that I can't do.
Right.
He's carrying the ball. I can carry the ball.
Man.
Right. And then that's kind of when it changed for me. Cause I mean, I didn't really get like true access to data, right? Like I probably started using Savant around like 2018.
Right.
Just, I mean, it's good. It's just pretty baseline for me, but like I could understand what I was looking at. So I was like, oh, Justin Verlander's carrying the ball at 20? I think I can do that. Right. And that's kind of when my mindset kind of like shifted to where it was like, no, I actually could. Like they're not doing that many crazy things. It's just, it looks crazier when you're watching it on TV.
Right.
Right. They're under the lights and they're performing. So yeah, it looks crazier. But I would say in a general aspect, that was kind of when my mindset shifted to more of like a, wait, no, I actually could do this. So I'd say probably similar for you. Once you actually started comparing yourself to others, it was probably a little bit more realistic.
And like with the data, it's like all that's like a foreign language to me right now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like when we were talking earlier about go back to your 18-year-old self, and I was like, hey, the information's out there. That's kind of what I'm talking about. You know what I mean? And so, I mean, the game's changed just so much since like I first came in, and it's like yeah, like to what you said, it's like, hey, there's pretty much I would say for the majority of players out there, pitchers out there, they have a big league comp, and the data's out there. It's like going to get it. You know what I mean? And just taking the steps to go get it.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, that's kind of like a game changer and can kind of put some of the anxiety at ease of putting dudes on such a high pedestal.
Yeah, pedestal.
You know what I mean?
Because they're big leaguers.
Yeah. Because I mean,
they're the greatest in the game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like, I think in that same breath, it's almost worry about yourself. This is why like I don't do comparisons really. I don't like comparisons, especially for you, right? I'm not gonna. What other big leaguer am I gonna compare you to? You're already a big leaguer.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, who do I need to compare you to? You're one of 20-something thousand people that have played in the big leagues.
Right.
So you're the top 0.00001% of the population already. I don't have anybody to compare you to. I just want you to be Sam Freeman, the best version of it,
Yeah.
right? Whether that's 26-year-old Sam Freeman or 35-year-old Sam Freeman, I don't care. My only goal is to make you the best version of 35-year-old Sam Freeman that you can possibly display for yourself, because one, it matters for you, it matters for your family, which is, I think, is the most important thing, because if you can't provide for your family, then, you know, what are you doing? You know what I mean? Like,
Sure.
Sure, for younger guys, yeah, it's a little easier. Hey man, you kind of look pretty comparable to pitcher X, Y, and Z, right? I have a guy in the Phillies or kind of throws kind of like Madison Bumgarner. Or there's a guy in the Pittsburgh organization kind of throws like Madison Bumgarner. Like, yeah, those comparisons are easy to make. Are they exact? Like, no, but sure, we can make them pretty close. So I would say, yeah, access of information now is massive. I have an 18-year-old high schooler who I think might actually, like, he probably knows more than I do. And I think he should probably coach me. But there is a little bit of too much information for someone like that.
Just was it a paralysis by analysis?
Paralysis by analysis, baby. Yeah, and that's a real thing. And
I can imagine.
I tell the story to every new guy I get. It's like, hey, like, I'm not gonna compare you to anybody. Here's why. I spent the years 2018, 2019, 2020, and probably most of 2021 convincing myself that I was Trevor Bauer. We threw pretty similarly. Metrics were pretty much the same. I was like, I can do that. So then I start mimicking things, and then I start noticing things. Oh, he can do that, and I can't.
Just like body wise.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know that I can do that. But did I try it? Absolutely,
Right.
100%. I have to fit this mold, right? So I can be a big leaguer. I have to fit this mold.
That
But there was no. I could just wake up. I'm Hunter Townsend. I don't have to be anybody else.
that's one thing I wish, like, going back, because I mean, I thought I was Mariano. Like, I saw they posted the linsicum. Like, I
Yeah.
tried that. I was like, but it's like just
I think we all did.
yeah,
I did that too.
just not really taking into account how unique everybody is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, just from something, just like limb length, like length of the fingers. You
Yeah.
know, just like height, weight. So, yeah, I think there's something that needs to be said to just kind of reel guys in for whenever they start reaching for comps. It's like, just like, hey, wait a minute, everybody's unique in their own
Yeah,
way. And
It's-
that was I was late to that party. You know what I mean?
I was too.
Late.
I was very much late to that party. I would say one of the, like, tougher things for me was realizing that I couldn't be anybody else except for myself. Right?
Yeah.
Because my whole childhood I wanted to be Josh Beckett so bad. Josh Beckett,
Oh yeah.
Jonathan Papelbon, right? Because I grew up a Red Sox fan. I wanted to be Josh Beckett more than anything on planet Earth. I did everything. Whole wind up. I had the fighting necklace, right?
Throwback, man. Did you braid them or did you?
Oh, I had the braid, and then I had the one that had the little what was it? The little, like, triangle thing on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, had that one. Because that's what Josh Beckett had. And, like, that's fine. Yeah, be your idols, be who they are. But I think once you get to a certain age, it's no more about being your idols, and it's about being yourself. And it's like, okay, my idol made it to the big leagues. I want to make it to the big leagues so I can be like my idol. I can't do it like him, man. We're just anatomically, we are way different. I mean, he was also, like, massive and threw 100, and I didn't do that. I still don't do that. So, like, I'm still not massive. So there's a missing link in there somewhere. I can convince myself that I'm Josh Beckett up to a certain point, and then after that point happens, I think you're basically playing with fool's gold.
So how do you address that with younger kids? Like, because I imagine there's like an urge for them to like dive off into those player comps is like, is that an easy sell? So it's like, hey,
No.
no, yeah.
I mean, I had a conversation with a kid not too long ago where he convinced me that she was trying to convince me that he was Justin Lawrence. And I was like, I was like, ah, sure. He throws 102.
Right.
So like, probably, he's also like 6'6", right? And you're not. Sure. Can we try to throw like him? Sure. If it looks better, if you're moving better, that's fine. Sure. It's all one cataclysm of events. But I mean, if there truly is a younger kid who I want to be a Roldis Chapman, good luck.
Need some.
You know what I mean? Good luck. Because unless you're just born a freak, like maybe. I mean, there's a 14-year-old throws 92. Does he kind of throw like a Roldis Chapman? Like, yeah.
So like, how do you?
How do I get them to buy into being themselves?
Yeah, like so. It's like, do you make like a concerted effort to separate the two?
It depends on how young. It depends on how young they are. If it's a 14-year-old, oh man, that's a lost cause. Right. Then it's just me beating a dead bush over and over again. But if you're 18, 19 years old, who are you trying to be anymore? Right? Like, sure, can we use certain things that they do? Like, for an example, I had a kid the other day who told me like Dylan Cease's glove side. And he's like, I tried it out. I know you don't like me doing this kind of stuff, but I tried it out. I think it looks better. I threw harder. Cool. That's all I care. As long as we're not remodeling the whole body to try and be Dylan Cease, because it's going to be really, really difficult to do. Right? It's going to depend on age. If you're 14 years old, man, and you want to mess around with trying to throw like Steven Strasburg, be my guest. Right? If it looks worse, I'll tell you why. But I think there has to be a certain line drawn where it's like, you know, I tried being Luis Castillo today, and it just didn't work, man. I threw 4 miles an hour slower, or I threw the same velo, and it's like, okay, well, let me tell you why. You're not Luis Castillo. You're not Max Scherzer. You're not Justin Verlander. You're insert name here, right? But here's what we can do. Do you see what Luis does with his back leg? Or you see how Luis's spine moves, right? I'm going to fit it to fit my own narrative as much as they are as well.
Got it.
Right. So, hey, I was watching, name a big leaguer, whatever, last night, throw for whatever team. I love the way his arm moves. Cool. Me too. Let me tell you why. Right. Explain it to them. Here's how I think we can incorporate it. Something similar to this into your throwing. Here's how I think we get there.
Right.
Versus, I'm not going to completely shut down the idea. Sometimes I will. It depends on the kid. If you have a kid who's just sitting there just every single week, like if it was me, because I did that, I would probably tell myself to shut up. But also, I'm also the kind of kid who, like, I grew up that way. Right. Where, like, hey, my dad just got off work. Get your stuff. We're going to the field. I'm gonna hit ground balls to you until I can't see anymore. And so, like, yeah, if you just told me just shut up, probably just gonna shut my mouth. Right. There are kids that you can't do that with. But that also comes into, like, the difficulty of the job, where it's like, yes, do I care about how you perform as a player? 100%. But I also care about you providing for your family, you being a good man, and you just being the best human being that you can possibly be, right? Because there's a human element that comes into this that I think has to be understood.
Sure.
You know, if you can't talk to anybody, I don't care what they've gone through in their life, I don't care about your political affiliation. I don't care about any of that stuff. I just need to be able to relate to you as a person first. So you can win people over by talking to them as a person. That's how you get people to buy in. It's easy to talk to you because you were understanding. I was like, hey man, I love punching people out. And you're like, I fucking love punching people out too, right? And it was like, all right, bet, right? That's why our phone calls are long. I don't care that they're long. I want to talk to you. I don't have any qualms with having an hour and 30-minute long conversation as long as I know that you and I are going to get somewhere eventually.
For sure.
Even if it's like, hey, we talked about barbecue for 45 minutes. Hey man, let's wrap this up. You know what I mean? Where we don't get anywhere with it. So for like younger kids, it's like, I have to be able to relate to what they're going to tell me. Younger kids now, they like TikTok. They like video games. They like Minecraft or whatever it is, right? I have to know what's going on there, which is weird because like I need to know the memes. I need to know how TikTok works. Like I have to post on it. Follow your boy. If I didn't have that, I think I would be a worse coach because I wouldn't be able to tell a younger kid who's like, I think I'm Jordan Hicks.
All right.
I wouldn't be able to. I would probably just look at him like this and I'd go, shut up. Right? And next thing you know, that kid he's gone. Like
right.
he's not going to listen to what I have to say anymore because he's already got it made up in his mind that he is Jordan Hicks. And if I can't approach the situation like an individual and I try and approach it as a robot or a computer, right? Like a douchebag, like, then I've lost you. And so like, to tie it back into the comparison thing, if I just shoot a younger kid down immediately, he's going to do this.
Yeah.
Or I got a video right here that tells me different. Here's a video right here. This guy said everybody can throw like Garrett Cole, right? Once he's done that, I've already lost him. He's on a different path now, and I've completely skirted the goal. So instead of addressing it as no, you're stupid, it's okay, you're wrong, but I want to talk about things that we can do to get us close to this.
Right.
Right. So I'm not trying to shoot them down aggressively, but I'm trying to shoot them down a little bit.
Right.
Because I want to be able to fit it into a mold of, this could be you. All right, you could be Sam Freeman. But here's what Sam does really, really well that you don't do very well yet. But here's what we're going to work on.
Gotcha.
Right. I think that's how you kind of shape it to fit what I want to get out of it. Right. And for younger kids, it's easier. Go lift. Go eat. Don't get in trouble. Don't get suspended. Don't get expelled. Don't get in trouble with the law. Boom.
Yeah.
Easy. Right? Once guys start getting older, it starts becoming a little bit more of a battle, almost. Or like if I have kids in college who are like, hey, I want to do this like whoever, right? It's, no, you can't do that. But here's what we can do.
Right.
So when a kid tries to compare himself, I'm not going to spin it into a negative, but I need to change it for a positive for myself.
I got you.
Right. So like in a system, I view a kid comparing himself as like a net negative. How can I spin that to a positive? Right. Hey, you don't necessarily move the same way as Josh Hader because, like, let's take you for example. You don't move the same as Josh Hader. Josh Hader's a little bit more crossbody, slot's a little lower, whatever, right? There hasn't been it. Oh, but you're both left-handed, right? You both have a coil move, right? So somebody somewhere could say like, oh yeah, they kind of throw alike, and then I would say, well, no, they don't. So like, I'm not gonna make Sam Josh Hader.
Right.
Like, there's no point. But I had you start creeping the slot down to here, all of a sudden we're playing in dangerous territory, and all of a sudden velo goes down. But if you have it made up in your mind that like, oh, I should be Josh Hader. I've lost you.
Or
You know what I mean? It's a little easier. The more experience you have in the game at a higher level, it's a little bit easier to try and spin it in your own favor.
I can imagine that.
Yeah. Let's say you sign. You're a big leaguer. Or you have to play your way in, whatever. I don't care. I don't care anymore. I'm just ready. I'm ready to see you in game. What are our expectations? What are our goals? Do we have any?
Expectations in terms of what? Like certain metrics, certain
Yeah, in terms of performance.
performance. Be a dude, man. Like it just almost to a point to where it's like when that phone rings, just having a role. So it's like you read the game, when the phone rings, it's like be pretty certain as you for that particular situation.
Yeah.
Is that, you know what I mean? So it's being a dude.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? It's being a dude.
I mean, I get it.
Yeah.
I understand what that means.
Yeah, man. Just
To me, it's like, I think it's pretty simple.
yeah.
You got, when you're a back end bullpen guy, you're either sheep or you're a lion.
Dude.
On any given day, you could be one or the other.
Right.
But you better hope more times than not that you're always a lion.
Yeah.
Because if not, you're gonna get your shit ate,
Man.
and that's not a good feeling.
Not at all.
Because like,
Not at all.
all right, I got a story to tell you. So a few months ago, I was on TikTok, just getting caught up on my younger kid stuff. I saw a video, and it was just like it was from a Braves fan account.
Here we go.
Yeah.
Well, let
Yeah.
me I can mine's racing. I can only imagine what we got. What we got.
They had some tread athletes on there. It was you, Chad Sabaka,
Yeah.
and Bryce Wilson.
Yeah.
They're not the biggest fans of you and Chad Sabaka.
No.
And comment was like, when he was good, man, was he good. But when he was bad, I was ready to kill him. And I was like, oh, no, that one hurts. That one hurt. But is that, as a big leaguer, is that something that you guys actually notice or know? Like, especially because now social media is huge, right? So everybody's on. Is that something that you guys pay attention to?
Well, I didn't get social media until 2020.
Yeah.
I had a Facebook, but I deactivated during the season, whatever. So after my time in that, like that was, you had a feeling, you know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But yeah, no, hearing that is not surprising.
Yeah.
Ain't surprising.
Is that something that guys pay attention to? Like, are you guys aware of what's going on as far as like what's not even like classic media, like let's like the news, ESPN or anything like that, but like simply just socials? Like, are guys actually paying attention to that?
I would imagine. Like I can't speak for
Yeah,
anybody.
not personally, but
I would imagine, because I mean, especially like if you're a guy that's pretty active on it, like if you engage quite a bit, then yeah, I mean, I would imagine.
Yeah, I mean, I would say like now it's becoming a little bit more popular to be a little bit more active on it, I think.
Yeah.
As far as dealing with brands and wanting to actually push your own personal brand.
Slippery slope.
Yeah. Well,
Slippery
dealing with sponsorships and stuff like that. You're a professional athlete, so like at the end of the day, if that's what it takes to get the bills paid, I understand it.
I guess I'm more so speaking. It's like you open yourself out there,
Yeah.
and it's like
It
you don't get to pick and choose what comes back. You know what I mean? So
it opens you up to criticism.
Yeah, for sure. Or just like avenues to receive it, or just like a
Correct.
direct, like yeah. I mean, when the opportunity comes, a sign or whatever, I'll probably just deactivate. I don't need somebody I don't know just to
Chirp you and just go,
vent, you know?
go off on you on Twitter.
Yeah.
They end up finding your Twitter account that's I thought was hidden for a while, but apparently it's not.
Yeah, no. And then I mean, every now and then they'll track your spouse down. You know, I've heard some unpleasant stories about people's spouses getting harassed and stuff like that. So, I mean,
to be fair, that happened in college as well.
Oh, I can imagine.
Yeah, I mean,
I mean,
we play Virginia Tech, and their fans let me know a thing or two.
Yeah.
about my now fiance, but yeah.
Yeah. I guess back in the day they would go through the program and just read the bio out loud and stuff like that. But I guess things have advanced with the technology,
Yeah, well, they have access to everything.
Yeah.
I want to say they found like my now fiance's Facebook profile or Instagram or something like that, and it was like, oh man,
Nasty business.
here we go. Yeah, I was always curious about that because I talked to Mitch Keller about it, and he's like, nah, I mean, I don't really pay attention to it. I just didn't know if it was that easy just to block it out of your life.
I mean, it was for me. I didn't have it, so it was just kind of like, I mean, there wasn't nobody, unless it was just like a very poor outing. I mean, nobody let you know about it unless they were like booing you off the stadium.
Yeah.
Even then, it's just kind of like horse blinders or whatever.
Yeah. I think you kind of have to be that way.
Yeah.
It gets a little messy.
It can, like it.
Even with some of my other guys, I've caught myself where it's like, kind of need to know what they're saying about so and so. I'm just gonna go ahead and type this name in right quick on Twitter and see see what pops up. And then I've been on there and I'll just catch myself and I'll be 30 minutes in and I'm like, oh no.
Well, I mean,
this is bad.
Like, if you look at it, it's like, when do you really notice a reliever? Like, unless it's like the closer, it's like the kicker. You know what I mean? You ain't gonna notice him unless he hits one off the crossbar.
Yeah, or he
like
misses
that,
it, shanks it. Yeah.
It's a part of it. It just kind of put things into perspective, man. You gotta shoot at a pretty high clip to kind of
To be considered great, yeah.
To stick around,
Yeah.
And so it's like just a part of it.
Yeah. I just didn't know how much that actually weighed on you. I imagine that you probably weren't super involved. It took me probably like 45 minutes to find your Twitter anyways. So I figured that you probably didn't care or didn't even want to look into it.
I mean, like,
because socials, I feel like that can be pretty dangerous to yourself.
Well, I mean, it can be, I would imagine, but it's like the dealing with just like the failure of a certain outing is like that's worse than anything that you know what I mean? So it's like,
what could they say at this point?
Yeah, I mean, it's like there's not a worse feeling than coughing it up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, nobody wants to be in that spot and to have to get on Twitter and see Jabroni 427769, right? Like, just going to work. He doesn't even have a profile picture and he's just going to work talking about how bad you are. It's probably just at that point it's just like, who even are you?
Yeah. It's all part of it.
Yeah, I guess so. It's part of being in the limelight that you are, I guess.
Funny.
Yeah, I've just always been really curious about that for some reason. I've never had to deal with it. Obviously, I deal with people now, because I have like somewhat of a following, I guess, thanks to Jamal. But like, even mine, they're still just like, this guy, he doesn't know anything.
No, I mean,
it's mainly it's just like, dude, I don't even. The thing initially, it was really, really bothersome because I'd never been in that position where anybody knew who I was.
Right.
And then now that there's a chance that somebody might know who I am, it's like, all right, I don't really care. But like, initially it was like, well, you know what? F you and you suck and you don't know anything. And now it's more just like, all right, bro, thanks.
I guess all a part of it, man. They're watching, so I mean, good, bad, and different.
They did watch.
Yeah.
Boost ratings, which is all you can ask for.
Good, bad, and different, man.
But yeah, just been curious about how social media kind of affects that stuff. I know we're kind of using socials now to try and push who you are. So obviously there'll probably be just a little bit more engagement as far as that stuff's concerned. Probably a few more people know who you are.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. As far as the Tread account's concerned, I'm sure it's probably help boost to make people know who you are. I think that's probably plays one part of it. I know it's
definitely a useful tool, man.
Yeah.
I mean, I found out about Tread through Twitter. One of my coaches, I mean, he sent the initial tweet that we talked about, that like signed or sealed deal for me. So I mean, it's definitely a useful tool.
Is that initially what it was? You just saw the account and you were just like, I think I'm on board.
Oh no, it was a tweet about Asian athletes, man, and then it was like,
Socials have their advantage. Um, it's one of those net positive, net negative things.
for sure.
You can either be a net positive in the atmosphere, or you can be a net negative. And I think that most of the time, I think we're always trying to be a little bit of a net positive. Like, there's not really too many times where you're going to catch me arguing with people.
Oh,
Well, well, that's not entirely true. But it's a little bit more monitored now as far as where, like, I'm getting older. I don't care that much. But I'd say for what we do, social marketing is pretty large. So it is cool to actually understand that that's kind of how you found out about it. I have every athlete tells me something different. Hey, I was watching either on YouTube, or I saw so and so's TikTok, or hey, I saw this post on Instagram, and like now I want to sign up, which that's really cool.
yeah,
So there is a true advantage to it for
sure.
us.
Yeah, definitely. And just, I mean, just word of mouth, man. Like I ran into one of my old teammates. I didn't know he was doing it. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, I mean, it's kind of wide web, man.
Yeah, which
Wide
is
web.
it's always really interesting. Well, the guy who threw after you, Duncan, right? Greg Duncan. I played against him every single year I was in college. Every year. Even when I transferred to ETSU,
Mhm.
he transferred to Radford, and we played against each other. And I had no idea. No clue who he was. I knew the name, and I was like, that's really familiar. Next thing you know, it's like, hey, you're going to be working with Greg Duncan. Make sure you get him all set up. I was like, name's really familiar. And we have our first phone call, and I was like, you remember me? He was like, yeah, you remember me? I was like, yeah. And then it's just this weird cult, but I think that's probably one of the cooler things about baseball,
Yeah, man.
right? Like,
It was like ETSU, Johnson City.
that's right.
Johnson City.
JC, baby. JC sick. I miss
Like,
Johnson City, man.
yeah, me too. Me
Dude,
too.
I could kill for some pals right now. I don't even know if you know what pals is. Oh man, dude, I'd kill for some pals.
We stayed at that Quality Inn right across the street from the mall and the Applebee's.
Really? Wow.
And I think they had a Ryan Steakhouse across the
Hey,
street.
yep,
That's probably gone.
it's gone.
Gone.
It's gone. There was Ruby Tuesdays there when I first got there, and it's gone too.
Man,
R.I.P. Man, I love Ruby Tuesdays.
was like the Electric Cowboy or something like that? That was long. That was 2008, man. Long time ago. But
Yeah, but even say like even for us, like Chase is from Bristol.
Bristol, Tennessee.
Yeah, which is
20 minutes.
20 minutes from Johnson City.
Yeah.
And he was like bringing up names, and I was like, dude, I know who that is. And like immediately, like even when he was here on an interview, I was like, we're actually connected. And Chase is 30. I mean, I'm not a young grasshopper either, but like, I mean, he's got 4 years on me, so like,
6 degrees of separation, man.
yeah. But like, it's crazy how the game is so like giving, right? Even when like now that I'm done, like I even have like old teammates who are like, yo, I need some help. It's like, cool, sign up, I got you. Or even if it's just like, hey, like my solder sucks, like,
Sure.
you help me fix it right quick. Yeah, teammates. Or even people that I've played against that have come in, I've been like, I know who you are.
Right.
Eric Sapp, one of the guys in there on the floor, faced me. I threw in the same game as him in a regional in like 2019, and he threw 138 pitches, and I still remember that
Crazy,
because
man.
he threw 9 innings and threw 138 pitches, and like I was like, oh, I know who you are, and he was like, oh, you threw at the end of that game, and it's crazy how this game is so
Intertwined.
yeah, dude. Like whether you know somebody in pro ball or you know somebody because they played high school baseball with one of your cousins or something like that, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
there's always a connection through this game, which is crazy, and people are everywhere. So I think it's funny that you're like, yeah, I saw one of my old teammates. I didn't even know he was here.
Yeah.
But I think it was probably the same way on pro day. Like
Yeah.
I think even you saw people you were just like, wow, I actually had no idea you were going to be here.
Yeah, man. Yeah. There was quite a few like that.
Yeah. probably say the same for them as well. You know, most of them were probably like, "What the hell is this guy doing?"
Well, I mean, I think that's kind of like a testament to what you guys are doing, man. Because it's like, obviously, stuff y'all are doing works. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like y'all built a brand where it's like people trust what y'all do, and it's like the results speak for themselves. You know?
Yeah.
So
Try and put you in the best spot, but say I'm hopeful for 2023. I think it's going to be electric once we get that name on a dotted line first.
yeah, man.
But we can update this after. Me and Jamal will take a trip, and we'll be at whatever big league stadium we need to be, and we'll film this part 2 at a big league stadium or something like that. Whenever you're ready to throw. I appreciate you doing this, man. Appreciate you.
Thank y'all, man.
Of course. How long is that? We're rolling?
Hour 15.
Really? I could start to tell the hours creeping up. My stomach started rumbling.